getting mine, ain't no rush. This perfection coming up, ashes to ashes, dust to dust. In the end, it's gonna be us. Don't need a spotlight on this grind, I run it up. Been the cut, gotta eat, skip the sleep till the work done. I be up, I'm getting mine, ain't no rush. This perfection coming up, ashes to ashes,
Going on,
dust
world?
to dust.
It's man Cleveland Holmes if you're professional, Showtime if you're nasty. Welcome back to the Crosscast. I took the last week off, it was the holiday, Memorial Day. I took that time, one, to chill with my people, because, well, it's holidays, that's what you do. Another thing I did with that time, man, I did some studying, man. I did a nice bit of studying, and which kind of brings me to the topic for today. The topic today is the importance of studying. Now, if you're anything like me, you're probably one of the type of people that's like, man, I'm usually good at stuff. At least I think so. So I don't really like to pay attention to other people that's in the same arena as me because, well, I feel like shit. I'm good enough. I could do what I could do. But now, I ran into an issue on the last episode I did an interview with my boy Tay Ward. Shout out Tay Ward. We did an interview. The interview went cool. Like, it was good. I liked it. But one thing I noticed, there was information that I should have gotten out of him that I didn't. Like, one of the main things that stands out to me is like, okay, that guy's been on tour with bigger names, you know what I'm saying? And that probably is good shit for the fans to hear. Like that's something that, hell, I'm curious about it. I'm sure other people are curious about it. And I did not touch it. I had every intention of touching it before we got together, but I kind of more so got caught up in just the conversation because I know him. You know what I'm saying? So we ain't seen each other in a while. We was having fun. We kicking it for real. Now, when I look back at the tape, I'm like, shit. None of the other people that do, successful podcasts or successful talk shows, web shows, whatever you want to call it. I call this Crosscast because it's a cross between the two. But none of them would have dropped the ball like that. Now, I've had some people like, oh, that interview was nice, that was hot, da-da-da-da. It was cool. It was cool for all intents and purposes, but for the point of an interview, I was supposed to get all of the shit, So I took this time to go and study other people in my arena. Like what do they do? How when I see a good interview, what makes it a good interview? So one of the people I went to study was one of my favorites. Dave Chappelle. He's hands down my favorite comedian by a long shot. But one thing I noticed about Dave Chappelle, he interviews very well. Like usually when I watch a Dave Chappelle interview, I'm locked in. I like that guy, man. That guy's great. I'm fascinated by him. I think he's great at what he does. And whether it's telling jokes, interviewing, he started a podcast. I listened to his podcast. I was like, oh, this is a vibe. His podcast is kind of different than other podcasts I listen to. But I ain't going to tell y'all about all that. Y'all can go check his out. One thing I noticed, I'm like, okay, as the interviewee, he's intelligent. So and I'm not saying that Tay's not intelligent. Please don't take that like that. Tay's intelligent also, but we were both on a different page than where I should have been for the viewership. Now, me and him talking when the camera was off, that's kind of more so what we got on the camera. We got it on the camera, some shit that me and him could have just talked about together. And some of the stuff we did talk about together, we didn't put on camera, but this could have all fell into that category. So what I was looking for was, okay, are these interviewers pulling these questions out of Dave, or are they getting this information out of him, or is he volunteering it because he's just good at interviewing? Unfortunately for me, he's just a great interviewer. But fortunately for me, I did notice some differences in interviewers watching those. Because one reason I watched his interviews, because one, I can't study some shit I don't like. Like, I'm not going to just go pull up a bunch of fucking Charlemagne interviews. Not saying he's bad at what he does, but he's one of those hosts that kind of, he's an antagonist. So he's not my favorite person to listen to, because I be looking at that shit like, man, some of them interviews, like, I couldn't have been the person getting interviewed by him. I would have freaked the fuck out. But some of the interviewers, they're good at keeping shit on track. Well, that's one thing I noticed with a good interviewer. You got to keep shit on track. And that was something that, in hindsight, I wish I would have paid more attention to, so then that way I could have delivered a product that I felt was the best. The product I delivered, I felt like it was good, but as a new starting show, I don't need to be good. I need things to be great. I'm trying to build on shit. I can't drop the ball. I feel like I dropped the ball. So I took the time to try to fix what I dropped. So I started binging different podcasts, different interviews. I'm just like all for the last week and a half, 2 weeks, that's all I've been watching. I've just been watching interviews, listening to podcasts, just studying. I mean, I even went as far as going and buying some books. They weren't about podcasts. They were more like just philosophies and things. But I bought the books because I'm like, well, once I got on the whole studying kick, I'm one of those, man, when I get on a roll, I'm on a roll. Whatever that roll may be. That's why I quit drinking. Because I binge things. So I started studying pods, and that just led me to studying. I went off on a tangent because I was watching Joe Rogan's podcast, and I'm like, what makes him good at what he does? Why is his shit so much bigger than other people's? And one thing I noticed is like, okay, the guy's knowledgeable. That's what made me go buy books, because it's like, well, I want to be knowledgeable. I just want to know shit. It's always good to know different things when you're dealing with a platform like this, where I'm just talking to people, or like a time right now when it's just me. I want to be able to portray different thoughts to keep people entertained. I do this shit for me first. I do this because I want to do it, but I also have to present a product that you want to listen to or you want to watch, or else I could talk to myself without a fucking camera, without microphones. I don't need that to talk to myself. I can talk to myself anytime, and I don't have to say shit. But I digress. Study, man. So I'm just watching, and I'm like, okay, one thing I noticed, I gotta dictate the flow of the conversation better than I did. So I was looking at people who I noticed dictate the flows of conversations in their podcast. And I actually went to one of my favorite podcasts, the Joe Budden podcast. Because shit, one thing that man's going to do, he's going to keep the conversation flowing where he wants it to flow. He'll go as far as cutting people off. Now, me, that's not necessarily my forte, but I do understand the importance of it. I don't try to be rude, especially when I bring you on my shit. I ain't gonna bring you here to be rude to you, but I see what's happening. When you pay attention to shit, you notice different things. Now, it's one thing when you're just watching something, you're not paying attention to nothing. You just like, hey, I just want entertainment. You'll notice what entertainment is. But now, when I'm looking like, what's the formula? What's the plot? Like, how are they getting this done? What's the science? You notice different things. You see the comfort of the people. That's another thing. Like, okay, yeah, I've been doing this. I'm on 7-8 episodes now, but I'm just now really getting comfortable. I'm always somewhat comfortable just because I've been in public situations and stuff, been on stages. So putting myself out there is not the most uncomfortable thing to me, but I mean, with repetition, you're gonna always get more comfortable. So it's like get yourself comfortable. How can I get myself comfortable? That's knowing what the fuck I'm about to do. See, me, I like the whole spontaneous, organic feel of the show. So I don't come in here with a script. I come in here with an idea. Okay, this is what I want to talk about today. It wouldn't hurt me to kind of have plotted points when I do this. I did that in one episode. The first episode that Real wasn't with me. Shout out to Real. What's up, man? How you doing? Hope everything good. Well, I know everything good because I talked to you. But that third episode that I did, that was the first one without Real. I did kind of make some points, and I did that shit because I was nervous. And then I felt stupid after that because it's like, duh, you knew how to make yourself more comfortable. You did it already. You know, it's funny when you do things without paying attention to why you're doing it and what was the result of you doing it. I did that just because, like, oh man, I don't want to get in front of the camera or get in front of these microphones and not know what I'm going to say. Get fucked up, you know, like forget something and then I'm pausing and editing and all that. Normally when I step in here, I do these straight through. I don't have much editing because, well, one, I'm not good at editing. So I try to make the shit as simple as possible for myself, and that's by going all the way through. So that was something, that's another thing I'm like, man, maybe I need to study the editing process, because while I'm studying, I noticed this was more particular to the visual aspect of it, because I'm looking on YouTube and stuff or looking at other pods and it's like, or web shows, pods, both. What makes theirs so good? A lot of it is visual, man. You know, like if it looks good, you're more inclined to watch it. If it doesn't look good, you kind of like, I might have to know you to want to watch something that doesn't look good, or someone would have to refer it to me, as opposed to, say you somebody that just so happened to be on YouTube just surfing and you go across my shit, but it don't look that good. You know, you're going to keep scrolling. You're not going to click on it. Now, if you just bored and looking for something to do and then something kind of pops out at you, you're more than likely to click it. Hey, what's that? What's that? Or shit, even if you are somebody that know me, say you somebody on my social media pages and I'm advertising the show. If it looks shitty, you just like, oh, there go Cliff, he doing that little thing he be doing. As opposed to, oh, that's his show. You know, there's a difference when you how you view shit. Because I'm guilty of it. I can't sit here and act like I don't do that to some people. You know, I'll see something like, oh, they doing that little thing they do. Or, hey, my man's right there got a show. You know, so when you're studying what's going on, you notice what you really need to notice. And I guess that's what I want to let people know. See, one thing y'all getting out of me in these beginning stages of this, y'all watching me grow and learn. Like, and I like to try to be transparent with stuff. Like, I let y'all know what I'm going through. Like, this is a new arena for me. And it's not like I'm coming into this with a whole team and we all sitting here doing a meeting of the minds. Like, no, it's me. Like, it's me. I'm rocking right now. This is something I want to do, and I don't have the luxury of everybody else's thoughts and brain powers into this. You know, every now and then people would throw me an idea, and it's usually somebody who don't got shit to do with nothing, and they give me some idea, something that I already know, but it's something that's not in the plan right now. You know what I'm saying? Oh man, you need to have some more get some people on the show that do X, Y, and Z. And it's like, I hear you. I do. But you also gotta remember, one, some of these people I don't know. 2, I do this at my house. You know what I'm saying? And I've got a schedule. You know what I'm saying? I don't want just any and everybody in my shit. You know what I'm saying? It's levels to this shit. You know? And I'm building. And then shit, some people is like, that motherfucker is over there doing that. This ain't big enough yet. You know what I mean? This could be an excuse, you know, if you was listening to the old episode. People make a million excuses. I make a million excuses too. But one thing I do when I realize I'm making one, I address it and I try to do it in a timely fashion. That being said, I noticed that like I'm watching these, I'm binging, studying, but in an entertaining way. I'm noticing other podcasters be collabing, you know, and that's something that I'm down to do. And then, lo and behold, the guy from another podcast, he ended up reaching out to me today. And it's funny how that happened. As soon as I'm like, you know what? I'm going to collab. Boom, somebody reaches out to me. I'm like, damn, what's that, man? Universe be universe, man. Like that's just shit. It'd be crazy how shit happened, man, with law of attraction, man. That shit was right on time. So we got that in the works. The podcast I'm talking about is called That's Debatable. You know, we gonna try to figure out something to where we can, you know, collab on something. You know, maybe he come here, rock with me. I go out there, rock with them. However it works. One day in the future, it'll happen because shit, we on the same page, you know. In any avenue in life, whatever road you're on, whatever you're trying to do, studying will never hurt you. You know, it'll always help. Like anybody who you can think of that's great at something, any of the greats, I've yet to come across one, and I've been thinking about it for the last couple of days. I ain't gonna say I spent the whole week or two thinking about this, but just between yesterday and the day before, I was sitting there thinking, like, who do I think is great at something that never references the greats before them, that didn't study other styles, you know? And I couldn't think of one. So clearly, that correlation, those things are related. Being great and studying crafts go hand in hand, you know. It only makes sense that it does. You know, when you really think about it. Now, somebody might be listening to this like, duh, nigga. That's what I felt like after I thought about it. But before last week, the thought of studying other pods or other shows and other hosts and what other people are doing in this space, it just didn't seem too beneficial to me. You know, I listen to stuff that's surely for entertainment value. You know, when I want to learn something, I just go look for that one thing. Now, just studying kind of gave me a whole new perspective on what I'm doing. And I mean, it got me amped up, man. It got me fired up because I'm like, oh, that's how we gonna get to the next level. Study, learn some shit, fix some shit. You know? So the next time I bring a guest on and we gonna talk about something, I'll make sure that I leave with the right information. I'll get the right shit on camera to where, and who's to say that everybody cares about what I care about? I don't care, because, well, I'm the one doing the show. So if there's certain information that I feel like should have been out there, I would rather put it out there and someone be like, that wasn't interesting, as opposed to me not getting the information and wondering like, man, people would have enjoyed this more. I'd rather try it and it not work than not do it right and be sitting there thinking I did something wrong. So, again, I'm saying that the interview went cool. We had a good time. I had a ball. I had fun doing it. I would definitely do it again. But I could have been more effective, more efficient, and just steered it more right, where I could have gotten better content than I did. And instead, I was just having fun talking, and which is fine. But what were we here for? You know what I'm saying? If we just wanted to catch up, we could have just did that. We didn't need a camera for that. We didn't need a microphone. I didn't need a platform for that. We could have just shot each other some messages on social media. Hey man, you trying to link up, talk, let's catch up. And we could have just did that. And I feel like that's what we did, but we did it on camera, and I didn't focus enough on the show. So then that led me off into a whole, well, why is it so important to study? And now this is what I'm presenting to you. So I say all that to say, whatever your passion is, whatever it is that you're out there doing, learn. Learn and never stop learning. I can't imagine the day will ever come where I don't need to know anymore. Like where it's like, well, I've learned enough. I can get through the rest of life like this. When you stop learning, you stop growing. You know? So even with this show, you know, if I stop learning how to tweak the show, make it better, whatever I'm doing right now, this will be it. If this show is in the same place a year from now, I would be very discouraged. I mean, and that's saying I'm doing everything in my power to make it better. Not to say that things are going bad, but I mean, the intent of this is to grow it. At the moment, I work doing stuff that's not just this. I don't want to do that shit forever. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be. It's certain work that I'm doing for money I don't care to keep doing. It's not that I'm doing anything bad, but it's like, shit. At the end of the day, I would like to get paid to do what I love to do. I think that goes for anyone, you know? Like, who wouldn't want to get paid doing what they love? Like, that's like the main goal in life, man. Like, that's like self-actualization right there. That's something you can be happy with, you can be proud of. That's like, okay, say for instance, you got a guy that works in a factory putting stuff in boxes. I doubt that was your dream as a child. Not saying that the person can't be happy and content with their job, but it's like when you were a kid or up into teenage years where you like, man, when I grow up, I want to put shit in boxes at a factory. Nobody ever said that. Nobody ever said that. I can guarantee you don't know anyone who's like, my dream is to box shit at a factory. Or even anything. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, who cares how good it pays? You could be making $20 an hour, $30 an hour, $40 an hour putting shit in boxes. But was that, you're happy with the money, but are you going to feel as fulfilled as you could had you just studied something else a little more, got good enough at it to where people are like, hey, I'd pay to watch him do that. Or somebody's like, hey, I'd pay him to come do that over here. That, you know, that's where I want to get to. I want to get myself to where I'm doing things in life where people are like, he's good enough, I want to pay him to do that. And that's not just with the show. That's not just with having this show. This is a part of it. But there's other things that I'm into that I've been studying also. You know, like I went last year, I went and got certified to be a personal trainer. You know, just because I'm into fitness. So it would make sense to get into that arena. Now, things kind of slowed down with the whole COVID. Oh, shout out to outside. Everything's back open here. At least here in Ohio, everything's open. They're like, hey, you can take the mask off. I don't know where all my viewers are at. hopefully your state's the same, because I wasn't really trying to wear no mask, no way. I know people probably like, you're part of the problem. It's like, keep your 6 feet, you shouldn't have to worry. But I'm glad that's over with. That's come to a stop. That people ain't tripping. Well, some people ain't tripping. There's still people tripping because there's still people walking around here with masks on. And I'm not bothered by anybody's choice on what they want to wear on their faces. And some of them, they studied the COVID and they feel like I should wear this mask. I studied enough of it to, all I needed to know was the survival rate. And I was like, I'll take my chances. Call me ignorant. I don't know. I don't really care. That's where I was at with it. Let's see. One of the things, I noticed some cool stuff while I was studying that kind of just was cool to look at. Like, I was looking at a Dave Chappelle interview, and it was, I don't even know if you want to call it an interview. It was like what was it called? Iconoclast, where it was like him and Maya Angelou, and they were just pretty much having conversations. So, in a sense, they were both the interviewers and the interviewees. It like, the concept was just cool. It was, whoever decided to get those two together, they were using that noggin. That was a great pairing. Like, when you get someone like Maya Angelou, who's like so revered for what she done, for the things she's done. Like, she's a great writer. She's activist. Like this lady's like, my friends were Malcolm and Martin Luther King. Like, her friend list is crazy. like she just like, oh yeah, I calmed Tupac down on the movie set. Like, she just like and she's not name dropping to seem cool. She's just like, I mean, this is where she's at. Like, that's how you know, like, this lady was just a beacon of greatness. Because she was just surrounded by people that are revered as great. And these are your normal people. Like, these are the people you deal with, and these are like your peers. Where, like, most people look at these people as like almost godly. They would worship the ground these people walk on. You talk about a Tupac, people that rap, it's like, oh my God, Pac's the god of rap, best rapper ever. You get people talking about Martin Luther King, Malcolm X. They like, that guy, I want to be just like him. I'm more like them. These people, Martin Luther King got a holiday, and these are people that she just kicked it with. like they call her like, hey, you should be out here with me. Like, and then for somebody like Dave Chappelle, who back then at the time of that interview, he's not on the level he's at now. He was the same person, but the world didn't view him like they view him now. Like, right now, Dave Chappelle is where I think he should be. And you can tell that he was studying, man. Like, you've seen his elevation from like Chappelle's show to where he's at now. You go from like kind of stupid humor, like you could tell somebody was thinking on some of them skits, but I bet you he probably watches that now and cringes, like, ugh. Because when you listen to him now and listen to his stand-up and stuff, you can tell how his wheels are turning. And he's very knowledgeable, and he's always dropping facts and stuff like that. That's why I enjoy him so much, because I can laugh and I can learn at the same time. If teachers at school were funnier, man, I probably would have went a lot further in school. like, and that's not to say that I didn't got a middle school education. Like, I dropped out in high school, then I ended up going to college. Then I got a GED and did that. But this ain't about that. Just studying, man. You can never learn too much. Now, some people, you can know too much about a certain topic. And really, that's not a bad thing either. It just will make you not be okay with certain things. which is fine. We, knowledge is power. With great power comes great responsibility. So I say all that because, well, I don't know. Maybe the idea of studying is not so foreign to everyone else, but like it just kind of fired me up, man. It got me excited once I decided, okay, I'm purposely going to start studying stuff that maybe I'm not studying for a particular test. It's like, dude, yeah, my schedule's kind of busy, between making money, working out, podding, spending time with the family. But I can pencil learning in. And, that's going to really cut into some of my TV watching. But, I'm missing so much. I'm not missing much. I don't even watch much TV. And when I do watch TV, it's normally anime. Yeah, I'm anime nerd type shit. I like that. Keeps me young in the mind. And it also keeps me thinking outside the box. Like, I got friends who's like, bruh, you watch that shit? It's like, yeah. Like, when I'm watching TV and stuff, I don't want to watch what I'm living. Like, I don't want to watch something that's already happening. That's like, one time I was in jail, and then the guys wanted to watch Lockup on the TV. Why the fuck would I want to watch what I'm living on TV? I'm already doing it. Why would I want to watch someone else do it? I'm already doing it. Like, when I sit down to watch a TV, I want to escape where I'm at. I want to go somewhere else. Like, the TV, like a portal. Like, it's a portal. Take me somewhere else. So, that's what I like to do on the TV. Not to say I don't like anything that's not animated, but 9 times out of 10, if I'm just watching TV and it has no educational value or anything like that, I'm watching something that's impossible. You know what I'm saying? So, take me somewhere else. Or I want to watch something that don't pertain to me. And I guess in a sense, you could look at that as studying. What's these philosophies? What's these principles on here that has me so intrigued? When you really pay attention to shit, when you're looking at shit from a scholarly standpoint, shit looks different. And now, so life is a lot about perception. So right now, I'm choosing to change my perception to learning. What can I learn from this? And I ain't gonna lie, man, life learn here. What is a pattern here? What can I see here in this encounter? It's got me listening to people different. It's also got me paying attention to what some people are saying, who is like, man, it was a lot easier to talk to you 2 weeks ago. Because now that I'm listening and because I'm trying to find the value in what you're saying, it's like, man, you ain't saying shit. like that shit backfired. So there's a couple people who in the last 2 weeks I could normally talk to, and it's like, hey, we're talking, we're having a good time, and I'm like, man, this dude's bothering me right now. This motherfucker ain't saying nothing. or this motherfucker saying the same thing over and over. What's next? My tolerance for redundance has dropped in the last week and a half. It was already not the best, but that's because it was like blatantly redundant that I was noticing it before. Now it's like slightly redundant. I'm like, okay, stop it. Tell me something else. So yeah, when your perspective change, the things you like might change too. But that's all good. That's all good, man. That's growth. And sometimes you outgrow some shit. So I'm excited to see where I end up while I'm on this whole let me learn something kick. Let me learn some shit. Now everything I'm doing, I just wanna I wanna take something from it. If I'm having a conversation with someone, I wanna take something from that conversation. I don't I guess I'm not really gonna be in the mood for too much small talk for the foreseeable future. There's a time and place for it, but I'll probably have certain people for that. Like like people that I already know. I hope this shit don't make me rude. I don't wanna start feeling like I'm better than anybody because people are dumb. Is that nice to say people are dumb? I don't know. But whatever. It's learning gets me. I'm not, and for the record, I was never a big, oh, let me go study guy. That was never my thing. But I guess now, like not being in school and now I'm getting to pick what I want to study. I don't know. The idea of it is exciting to me. Like it's been exciting and it's kind of I'm feeling a brush. You know, like now I'm like, oh, let's learn that. What's that over there? I wanna understand it to the point that I wanna understand it at. I don't really care how to make an engine. At least not today. I don't know how I'll feel a year from now. But in these certain arenas that I'm in, for example, web show, podding, exercising, I want to learn more. I want to learn more. Like I've recently started doing yoga, you know, to add to the workout regimen because it's like, well, I don't want to ever lose my mobility. Like right now, I get around pretty well, but I mean, I'm 31. You know, your body starts to feel different. Now, I still feel like I'm in my prime, but I want to keep feeling like that. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to, 2 years from now, I can't move the same way. Or 10 years from now, I can't move the same way. Or shit, ever. While I'm alive, I want to be able to move. You know? So that's something that I'm picking up studying. Like, okay, what are things that promote continued use of your body, like sustained mobility? I want to know that because I want to, one, do it myself, two, be able to give that information to people I'm working with. You know, I don't want to just get you in the gym, get you lifting 1,000,000 pounds, but you can't move. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, because I like you see those people. Like if you're a gym person, you see those guys, they just jacked, but their mobility is terrible. You know, I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to create that guy. Now, if that's what you want to be, there's other trainers. You know, I want you to be strong and also be able to use it. You know, that just seems like the right thing to do, right? Like who wants something you can't use? It's useless. Who wants to be useless? You know, it don't make sense to me. And that same concept, I can apply this to the pod or to the show. Why would I want to create a useless show? I want to be able to give something to the viewers. You know, anybody that's viewing this, you know, because we right here at the beginning. So like the people that's been rocking with me from episode 1 to now, like I love y'all. I'm very grateful for you. You know, anybody who's just getting into it now, I'm grateful for you too. You know, we rocking this from the ground floor. You know, and I'm learning every time I'm stepping in here and jumping in front of this computer, these microphones, this camera. Every time I'm jumping in front of this, I'm coming in a little smarter than I was the week before. You know, and that's a good feeling. You know that I like how it feels. Hopefully, y'all are enjoying it as much as I am. And as long as I'm able, I'm going to try to continue to keep making these things better, you know, because that's what I want. I want to create the best product I possibly can. And I would think y'all want to listen to or watch the best product available. So I need to put myself in a position to provide that. And studying, learning how to apply what I'm learning is the only way I'm going to get that done. That's the only way we'll both benefit. I'll benefit by being able to put out something I can be proud of. You'll benefit by having something to view. You know, I can't do this without y'all. So I might as well make sure I'm putting out the best thing I can put out. But yeah, you know, it's just a little tidbit I felt like I should share with everybody, man. Like, study, people. Study. Whatever it is that you're doing, study. If there's a particular person that you admire that does what you do, study. If maybe you like something and you don't necessarily have a reference point, find one. You know, like maybe you're I don't know, a welder. Now maybe you don't have a particular welder you're like, oh, let me look up to them. Find a structure that you really are like intrigued by and find out who the hell made it. You know, maybe study how it was made. Watch, it's a bunch of stuff to study. What do you want to do? Learn about it. You're never going to figure it out if you don't learn about it. You know, and it's like, or the time, or let's say you can figure it out without studying. How much longer is it going to take you? Like, being alive today, we have so many people's life work a couple clicks away. Like the internet, you have everything. So let's just say you don't want to go buy books. You have the internet, like Google's out here. You can literally click a couple buttons and have someone's whole life work in front of you at your disposal. Like, use that shit. Use it. Why wouldn't you? It's foolish not to. So why would you spend your whole life figuring out something somebody already spent their whole life figuring out? You're kind of doing the craft a disservice because you probably could have built on what's already considered the best. You probably could have built on that. So go view the best or whatever you perceive to be the best. And go from there. You know, why start from the beginning when you could start from where somebody else left off? Life is a continuation. Every person that's born doesn't have to start from square one. We don't live in caves. You know what I'm saying? We skipped the caveman period. We're out of there. We didn't have to do that. You know, we can go to the grocery store and buy already cut meat. We don't have to go hunting. You know, like, pick your battles, man. Pick your battles. Would you rather just go ahead and study a little bit? Or would you want to build it up from caveman times? You know, do you want to be a Neanderthal in whatever field you're in? Or you want to start at the top? We're literally born with a shortcut right now. You know what I mean? From the people who lived before us. Why not use it? And again, some people are probably like, duh, he's telling us this like he's telling us some new shit. But motherfucker, it was new to me. the concept, I knew to study. I know about studying. But this concept just, I don't know. It's clicking different for me right now. And hopefully I painted a picture that someone else can use. In the next following weeks, you know, I'm gonna have different people coming on the show. You know, believe it or not, I know some smart people. My mother's one of them. I'm gonna have to get her in here because I did the whole Mother's Day thing and talked about how great I think this woman is. So I feel like maybe I could bring her in here and y'all can get a little taste of why I think she's great. Because she's a very knowledgeable person. One of the people who's been taking and using studying to her advantage. So when I was talking to her and I kind of threw this out there, she's like, oh. And it's like, you're sweet. She wanted to say duh. And we just kind of laughed about it. Like, I only been telling you this your whole life. She knows I'm one of those. I'm historically, I'm one of those. I want the biggest result with the least amount of work. Like when people say work smart, not hard, I'm like, hell yeah. Like that's the way to go. Work smart, not hard. And when they say that, they mean like study something before you instead of trying to reinvent the wheel. It's already invented. And me, I'm taking work smart, not hard. It's like, hey, let me use that wheel over there. Like, no, here's the blueprint on how to make the wheel. You don't have to invent it here. Just make this one. We got a quick step-by-step guide for you. And I'm like, well, shit, that wheel over there is already ready. Bad analogy, but you get the point. And so, yeah, I got her. I got, well, I ain't gonna get too much into it, but I have been putting some plug in, doing some things, get some nice information out of these people. And that's another reason I was studying interviews. Because it's like, okay, next time I bring a person in here, I want to get them to share with more than just me what they're good at and some of the knowledge that they have. So I've watched and I know what steps I need to take on my end. Now, I have no control over how someone answers a question or what they're willing to disclose, but I do control what I ask and the flow of the conversation, not to let things get too far off track before I reel them back in. And because at the end of the day, when I signed up to do this, I put myself in a responsibility in a spot where I have the responsibility, I have a duty to you guys to provide good content. So I'm gonna even say this. I apologize to my viewers for not getting the best content I could have got out of a great source to get to get the content out of. Like my boy Tay, he had some shit to tell. At least like some stories of touring, maybe what artists might need to focus on, what are good ways to get things done. I didn't get that for y'all. Like I didn't get that presented to y'all where I should have. So it's my fault. I can do better. I will do better. So I ain't gonna beat y'all heads in too much more with this studying thing, man. I'm excited. I'm amped up, And I got some good things in the works. I've also come up with some other ideas. I just gotta get those in the works, man. It's gonna be a fun summer. It's gonna be a fun summer. And hey, we in for a ride, people. Let's buckle up our seatbelts. Let's get it done. I'm gonna go ahead and sign off with that, man. Thank you all for watching the Crosscast or listening to it if you're on the podcasting apps. It's your man Cleveland Holmes if you're professional, Showtime if you're nasty. We out of here.